The franchise recap is double-digit days old as we're on to season 10, our second straight sequel, Inferno 2. Airing March to June of 2005, this season saw 20 contestants compete across 16 episodes, plus the To Hell and Back special, for a prize pot that was back to $300,000 plus a bunch of daily challenge prizes. Dave Mira was hosting for the second and final time, and for the third, but certainly not the final time, we were in Mexico. One major evolution here, that being the good guys versus badasses format. We'd done real world road rules, we'd done women versus men, but this new full on mix up of the cast was quickly going to become the standard of the franchise, and the good guys versus badasses would be used one more time after this during Inferno 3, of course. Other smaller but notable evolutions or changes, unlike Inferno 1 or Gauntlet 1, where your own team submitted someone for elimination, this time the opposing team picked, which meant, as Tina put it, quote, you can actually go back to your cheering team and believe they wanted you to come back, end quote. The eliminations featured entrances for the first time, which I've always thought was the Miz's doing, as he maybe wanted to practice a little bit for the WWE. The final was a full-blown endurance event for the first time. A player was maybe arrested during the season for the first time. Still, sorting that one out. And the eliminations became very, very physical. 7 of the 8 were true physical contests, and the first of our big 3 headbangers was introduced, with Balls In making its debut. Stats-wise, Darrell would win his third straight, joining Veronica in a 3-time winner club. Miz would become a 2-time winner, which now had 9 people in that club, and Miz and Veronica would continue extending leads in confessional counts, dailies played, episodes, all of those types of categories. Storyline-wise, really, for maybe the first time ever, this season was as much about the actual competition as it was the show of it all, and it featured some incredible performances. The daily win counts was 8-7 at the end, so very, very close. The eliminations were ruthless. You had people scheming to win, building alliances, trying to get rid of certain players on their own team, on the opposing team. It was a new level of competition for the show in a big, big way. That isn't to say there wasn't drama, because there was plenty. Beth and her team were at odds the entire time she was there, resulting in the iconic moment of Tanya throwing Beth's things in the pool when she wouldn't get out of bed to talk to her about the rumors or just maybe facts that she had been spreading for no good reason around the house. Eventually, Beth would quit, but things didn't stop there. Then it became Tanya at odds with her own teammates, the Mean Girls trio of Rachel, Veronica, and Tina. While they constantly bickered and picked on each other, Tanya kicked way too much ass during the dailies for her team to ever actually be able to get rid of her on this season. It was far and away her best performance season of her career. Eventually, the good guys team would get whittled down to an incredible final 4 of Darrell, Jamie Chung, Landon, and The Miz, who handily beat a supersized badasses team that was left. Landon in particular needs a shout out here, as his performance all season is why I consider him to probably be the best natural athlete the show has ever seen. In particular, the zip up challenge, where he went head to head with CT, where they had to pull themselves up into the sky on the zip line. The more flags they got, the better their score was. Both guys needed to win the individual portion. Both guys needed to win for their team's sake, and Landon absolutely smokes him. And it's just an incredible, incredible performance. By the way, CT does win 6 of the 8 lifesavers available to him this season, even with Derek and Abram on his team. So the dude was and is an absolute monster, but Landon as a rookie really, really, really showed out. Speaking of monsters, Abram and Brad, my goodness, memorable moments has to start with the first ever Balls In match that we referenced, which might actually be the greatest elimination we've ever seen. In my opinion, I struggle to not name it the best one ever. There was no stoppages. It was a Balls In as we know it still today, but no stoppages. Just once one round was over, the balls tossed back, we start again. There wasn't breaks, there wasn't whistles, and the two freaking just went at each other. The teams were rattling the cages of the arena above them. It was real like gladiator-like atmosphere in the sand, and it ended with a verbal fight breaking out with Darrell included with these two, because the 3 of them had an alliance that had supposedly gotten broken. Other moments include the already mentioned throwing of best clothes in the pool by Tanya, an incredible belly flop competition where Landon and Tanya received perfect 10s from this judge, Dan playing with Robin's magic wand, Landon and Derek wrestling in the streets, and the wedgie heard round the world as The Miz turned Brad's underwear into a necklace. The quotes from the season were legendary as well. Maybe one of the most stacked quote award categories I've ever had to give it out during my rewatch in 2022. Tina's quote, "For a rivalry, you need competition. Tanya's not my competition. She's my doormat." Dan's landing strip for Dumbass Airlines in reference to Landon's reverse mohawk haircut. Derek's deadpan, "Who likes to get wedgied, man? Not me," from the shit they should have shown episode. The list goes on and on. It's one of the most competitive seasons ever with an all-time cast, handful of iconic moments and quotes. That's damn near an argument to be our first entry into the all-time best tier. And maybe down the road we will revise and bump it up. But for now, I can't totally get there. I think there's still enough better seasons to come that will fill that tier in. So I'm going to go with the great tier here, but the true top of the great tier. It's an A-, and no other A- will surpass it in the actual rankings. I think this was the best of our first 10 seasons of the challenge. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the upcoming Battle of the Eras recaps. Tune in tomorrow for Gauntlet 2.